I'm back with another one. Hit that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. Season 1, Episode 1. This is where it all starts. House of Dragon. The Heirs of the Dragon. Man. Viserys hosts a tournament to celebrate the birth of his second child. Rey welcomes her uncle Daemon back to the Red Keep. And I'm going to call her Rey. Rhaenyra. I'm going to just call her Rey. Princess Rey. And man, was this a good episode, man. Excellent episode. Well done. Thank you, HBO. They do not disappoint. HBO do not disappoint, man. The first thing I thought about in that opening scene where we get to see King's Landing 200 years before the Game of Thrones events. And, well, actually, technically 172 years before the Game of Thrones events. And, the dragon fly over King's Landing, and we get to see what the dragon pit looked like originally. In Game of Thrones, the dragon pit was destroyed, really. It wasn't much left of it. But it was just great seeing that opening scene. And then we opened up with the young Princess Rey getting off the dragon. And when she got off that dragon, and I think they did this on purpose, the clothes that she wore and her whole look and appeal, she instantly reminds you of Daenerys Targaryen, right? She instantly reminds you of Daenerys. And I think they did that on purpose with her. But she is a Targaryen, so it just brings you back to Game of Thrones with Daenerys Targaryen. And it's a lot of nostalgic stuff going on here. For instance, like when they went to that early scene, they kept going to the scenes throughout the episode where the King's Council, that room where you sit down with the King's Council, you got the macer, the person that's over the finance, the person that's over the army. Like you sit down with the King's Council, we got to sit down in that classic set. It looked like they used the same exact set that they used for Game of Thrones. That was so very nostalgic, seeing them sit down with the King's Council, and that was, all that was just great, man. And we got that scene early on where Princess Rey and her uncle Daemon, that Uncle Daemon, bro. He's something else. Yeah, this him right here. Uncle Daemon, boy. He's something else, ain't he? I like his character, though. But that scene, another nostalgic moment to me when they were in the throne room and Uncle Daemon Targaryen, he was sitting in the throne. That just showed you that how he wants to be king, and how he doesn't. That was the first sign of him showing that he doesn't follow rules either. That was the first sign that we got. We got many signs of Daemon Targaryen. He don't believe in following rules. That was the first sign we got. Him sitting in the throne room, talking to his niece. And it was very nostalgic hearing them talk that Targaryen language, which we remembered, that was very nostalgic of the original Game of Thrones. But didn't you sense a inappropriate relationship going on between his niece, Princess Rey, and Daemon Targaryen? I will get into predictions a little bit, but I'm going to say that for predictions there. But you could sense in the scene when he bought her that necklace and put that necklace around her neck, there was a sense of inappropriate relationship. And that Hightower guy. What's that Hightower guy that plays the King's hand? The Hightower guy. I know he on his first page. There we go. Otto right here. At first, when I first saw Otto, I thought like I thought him being against Damien Targaryen, him steady speaking, him and Damien, they got this thing going back and forth. At first, I thought that Otto was a very noble man and kind of like I was getting him kind of mixed. I was starting to kind of look at him and compare him to Ned Stark in season 1 of Game of Thrones when he was the king hand. You know, Ned Stark from Winterfell, you know, he was a real noble man. He stood by his guns. And I was starting to think that maybe Otto had some of that in him, like Ned Stark. But later on, when I saw how he was pimping out, looked like he pimping out his daughter to the king, then I was like, okay, well, maybe he not Ned Stark. Ned Stark would never do that. Now, Ned Stark would probably let one of his daughters marry a prince for an alliance or something like that. But I don't think he would pimp his daughter. Ned Stark wouldn't pimp his daughter out like that. So maybe not like Ned Stark. But Otto Hightower was an interesting character. And I'm wondering, is he going to make it to the end of the season? That's going to be interesting to see. You know? And I also was wondering with Damien, with Prince Damien here, my man here, you know, he was having problems, you know, handling business with the with the woman there. Okay, it's already discussed that he hates his wife. And he's not having any relations with his wife, probably. I mean, maybe he'll have some to have a child for the Targaryen name because that's his duty or whatever as a prince. But he ain't touching his wife, which I guess we're going to get to see her soon. But he got this lady that's in the brothel that he like. But very on early in the episode, it's like he couldn't get nothing going. He was doing something. He was having sex with her, but then he stopped. And sometimes I wonder, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Daemon Targaryen ends up being revealed as maybe maybe bisexual at the least. I wouldn't be surprised at all, and we're gonna have to see because this is early on. They're planting the story right now for the season, so we're early on. We got what they got 9 more. Are they gonna do 10 episodes? We probably got 9 more episodes to go, so it's too early. It's a lot that we can't figure out yet. It's too early. And when they had that jousting match, when they had that jousting match, that was a nice. Well, in many instances, it's nice to see them mentioning the other houses. Like later on toward the end, we got to see a Stark when they named her queen. I mean, named her to the predecessor to the throne or whatever. We got to see the guy from Winterfell, Ned Stark's ancestors up there. And during the jousting match, we got to see the Baratheon ancestors. Remember Robert Baratheon from season 1? He was sitting on the throne and he was married to Cersei. Well, we got to see Robert Baratheon's ancestor at the jousting match. And then he came and asked for Otto, not Otto, but he came and asked for a favor from the queen, a favor from the women, or whatever. Oh no, he asked for a favor from the king's cousin, because she's always known as the queen that never was. She's the true heir to the throne, but they like to pick men over women. So yeah, the Baratheon guy, being a true Baratheon, being messy and picking at people, he went and asked for the queen's hand, for her blessing during competition, and he asked for not the queen, but he asked for the woman who's supposed to be queen. Let me just pull her up. The woman that's supposed to be queen, she should be on the front page. Yeah, she should be on the front page. Yeah. Oh, they don't have on the front. Oh, there. Yeah, Princess. I think that's her right there. Yeah, Princess Rhaenyra or whatever her name is. Yeah, Baratheon came and asked her for her blessing, and then he made some little comment about that she should be queen or something like that. A dig at the king. Because she was the king's oldest child, So that's who should have got the throne. But because they don't want a woman on the throne, they gave it to um, King Varys. You know. But that Baratheon, that was him being a Baratheon. That was interesting though. And it was good to see him, Robert Baratheon's descendant. It was good. So I'm glad to see these houses popping up, even though it's 172 years prior. It's good to see these houses. When we gonna see a Lannister house? I'm sure it's coming. We gonna get to see Lannister. You know, it's coming. And at that jousting match, speaking of it, that jousting match, we got to see that Prince Daemon is the kind of guy, he break the rules. You know, he don't believe in rules. Remember when that guy got the best of him and knocked him back, and then he came back around and took his stick and slapped that man's horse and knocked him off his horse. I don't know. I don't have the rule book on jousting, but that might be against the rules of jousting to take your stick and slap at the man, reach over and slap the man's horse. So he liked to fight dirty though. So that was telling us about this Daemon Targaryen guy. And when he was arguing with his, he went out and said he made that quote king for a day. That doggone Daemon. He talked about his own nephew that died. The nephew ain't even been, they just buried him. They just cremated him earlier that day. And he talking about king for a day. Man, that doggone Daemon, man, I kind of like him. But that right there, man, that was a low blow right there, man. And then his brother, Viserys or whatever his name is, King, he was hot about that, and he sent his brother Daemon off to wherever he sent him. He sent him back to the Targaryen home, wherever that is. He banished him back home, got him out of King's Landing, and decided to bring his daughter in as the heir. But that conversation they had was a good scene with Viserys and his brother Daemon, and they were going back and forth. But Daemon made a good point where he didn't feel that his brother was fit for the throne. And he talked about all those little snakes at the council. All them guys are just they don't really have your best interest. They just trying to figure out how to stab you in the back. And Daemon made a good point, so I kind of feel Daemon on that. So it's some good writing, and I'm just looking forward to the rest of the episodes this season. We're really in store for some good stuff. But on to predictions. All right, so looking forward, like I said, Ray here, I'm calling her Ray, and her uncle, it looked like some incest type stuff going on there. And we're going to see, especially when the older version of her comes out, we're going to see exactly how that plays out, because we got some Cersei and the Lannisters type incest going on up in this family, it looks like. But from my understanding, the Targaryens, that's what they do, because they like to keep the bloodline strong. So they incesting like crazy. That's probably why you end up having the Mad King. And her friend, her childhood friend, Alyssa Hightower, young Alyssa Hightower. Her and Alyssa are very close. And remember, Alyssa's dad, the king's hand, he sent her to the king's chambers to comfort the king. You know what I mean? So we're going to see how this is going to play out, because she's going to have a close relationship with the king. And we're going to see how all this is going to play out going forward. And like the old king said before Valerius, the current king, like the old king said, the only thing that could bring down the house of Targaryen are the Targaryens. And going forward, we're going to see just how that happens, because we know when Game of Thrones start, all the Targaryens are killed off. There really aren't the dragons are gone, and the only thing that's left is maybe a few Targaryens left. And we're going to see exactly how they end up killing themselves off. Because like Valerius was telling his daughter, the heir, that the Targaryens, they've all been said to be the closest to the gods and all that. But he said in reality, we're no different from any other men. The only difference is we know how to control the dragons. And that's what gives us our power. If you're still here, thank you for hanging with me. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Get in them comments. Let's have a discussion about this. Talk to me. Come on, I need some friends. Come talk to me in my comments. I appreciate it. And until next episode.